Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the reaction log. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Walgreens, if you're listening to me, I know how the last one ended off. I know that I denounced you and I went to PetSmart, but listen, things haven't been so good for me, and I just really need a freaking break right now. Please, Walgreens, you know your playlist was best when you had me curating it. That's why you reached out to me in the first place. Though, I am the one who reached out to you. I know that. I saw your ad on Indeed. I'm sorry about coming in late. I'm sorry about not doing my work. I'm sorry about treating everybody in the store poorly because I think I'm better than them because I'm a YouTube celebrity. Whoa. But I need this job. I need this sponsorship. So please, Walgreens, just reconsider. I will do everything you want me to do and more. I will go above and beyond. And let me show you how I'm going to do that. You guys have been asking me to review this guitarist. It's Antoine Boyer. What's up, man? How's it going? We're going to learn how to pronounce his name once we click on this Rick Beato video. But I'm looking at this because a lot of you have reached out to me, especially after this Rick Beato interview. It's like, Cameron, are you going to review this guy? He's playing what appears to be a nylon string guitar. I think, could be wrong, but there are certainly holes in the headstock, which is a very familiar thing to me. It makes me feel safe. And a lot of you have just wanted me to review his playing, so that's what we're gonna do in the form of a Rick Beato reaction video, because, like I said, life has not been treating me very kindly, and Papa needs to get paid, so we will invoke the name of Rick Beato to funnel those sweet, lucrative views into the Sore Hens video. By the way, let me go ahead and introduce myself. I am a classical guitarist here on YouTube. And what does it mean to be a classical guitarist? It means that you spend just as long in school as a surgeon spends, except instead of being hired to use your expertise to save lives, you get hired by Walgreens to curate their playlist for their customers. And in fact, you don't even get that, because I was fired from Walgreens, but baby, come back. I will do anything for you. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Antoine Boyer. See if he's any good at guitar. He probably sucks.
Antoine Boyer.
Antoine Boyer. I can't help but feel like Rick Beato did that just for me.
Antoine Boyer is a 28-year-old French guitarist.
Oh, thank God. I always feel so bad when people are younger than me and they've achieved so much more than I'll ever achieve in my life. When I'm younger, it makes me feel like I could still catch up by the time I'm their age. Because there's always the chance, right? In this universe we live in, there's always a chance of something, as long as it is technically possible. But you know what's not possible? Rewinding time. Trust me, if it could be done, Rick Beato would do it, because he's getting up there. What a geezer!
I've been following him for a couple years.
You guys said he was playing a nylon string. Is that nylon? You know, towards the headstock, they look clear, but then they look kind of silvery over here. It's hard to tell. Well, we're gonna have to listen. We're gonna have to listen a little more.
I had a chance to sit down with him last week while we were out at the NAMM show.
Yeah, that was crazy. I don't even know what I was hearing there. That kind of reminded me of the sound when you listen to a prepared piano piece and someone's just kind of scraping the piano.
Antoine, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me about your background, how you got into guitar, and how you developed your playing style.
I started with gypsy jazz.
Okay.
Whoa, throwing around the G slur so early on. What other kind of style of music do you play? Do you like playing fusion, classical music? That specific title for that genre I always found a little amusing, because isn't that like, you're not supposed to say that, I thought. I guess if you invest enough time in shredding, though, you are just now allowed to say words that other people shouldn't say. If you are uncomfortable saying gypsy jazz, I have a couple of alternatives for you. There's jazz manouche, and then there's also my personal favorite, the hot club style jazz. That's what Julian Bream would call it. Throwback to Julian Bream. All right.
My father proposed me to start guitar when I was 6.
Is he a musician?
Yes, he's a musician, and he was playing piano, classical piano.
Nice. What happened, dude? Classical not good enough for you? All right.
But he was a very good musician. But he didn't play guitar yet. And when he proposed me to start guitar, he meant gypsy guitar, because that's what we were listening at home.
Okay.
We listened a lot of gypsy jazz, gypsy music from, East Europe. So we started guitar together with the same teacher.
You and your dad?
Yes.
Okay.
We played together because gypsy jazz is a style you don't play alone.
Right.
You have to play at least 2 people.
Oh, well, that's kind of interesting. Very different from what I play, which is classical guitar. You never don't play alone, and that's one of the beautiful things that I love about the style of music that I play. It's kind of like creating your own little universe that you're god of. A very lonely, isolated universe that nobody is allowed inside of. They're allowed to observe it, though, but they cannot interact with it at all.
Very quickly, I started to mainly play the melodies and improvisation, and he was doing the rhythm, and a few years later we started to tour together. And I think that he proposed me to start the gypsy jazz together because he had the experience of learning music alone in front of a score.
Yep.
Starting piano at a very young age. He didn't want me to start music like this.
Yeah, he didn't want you growing up weird. That's also a really great thing about having a kid, because it's kind of like a promised bandmate in 15 years or so. That's why I would have a kid. That's why I'm so unsafe all the time.
And you learned tunes.
Hold on, I think that's the fabled nylon string guitar. That must be, right? Can't wait to hear him play his fugue on that thing, huh? Also, Rick with the kicks. Dude, I can imagine Rick shredding on a skateboard with these things. These are awesome.
No. I love gypsy jazz because it's really friendly.
Sounds like the hot club style to me. Pretty nice stuff. Is there any kind of comment I want to make on that? Kind of sounds like he took half a chorus from minor swing or something. I would bet my life that he just played all that in A minor. Let's see. All right, I said I'd bet my life. Oh, we live another day. Sorry, everyone. There's some identifying things that we can just kind of see from there. First, it's following what sounds like the minor swing or something chord progression, like a 1-4-5 in A minor. And when you listen to it, you can almost hear the comping in the background because he's staying pretty concise with like a chord progression. So it's pretty cool. Sounds like he knows what he's doing. All right.
Now, the vibrato is a very specific kind of thing, too.
It is, yeah.
Talk about that.
The vibrato is very deep, different from the classical guitar vibrato and also the jazz guitar vibrato.
I don't know, is it that different? I feel like I do that in my Bach pretty often.
Specific thing that I'm teaching very often is that your fingers need to be locked. So
For leverage, right?
yes, for leverage.
Yeah.
The vibrato with the finger only, like this.
Yeah.
But you don't have the same strength.
Yeah.
And when you hear Django, it's
Yes.
Wow. Kind of sounds like a Guitar Center vibrato. Just lock your fingers, just uncontrolled. It's the style, though. I get it. All right, all right.
Well, it's interesting because it's different than a rock guitar vibrato too. So if you're playing, if you're playing a rock guitar, you play with a different vibrato.
Yeah.
And when you play classical guitar,
yeah. It's
you
different.
personally are doing different things like that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Is he going to play classical guitar for us? Ooh.
Of one of your pieces that's in a gypsy jazz style.
Yeah. This one, for example.
Have a great day. If it's that will leave a mark season, it's Walgreens season.
Hey, and you know what? That was pretty sick. And pretty reminiscent of the complexity that I would expect in like a high-level classical tune, right? And he said that was a piece that he wrote. It makes me wonder if that's like written out or something, or is it just like you just kind of come up with it and just memorize it and maybe record it, and that recording is how you'd preserve it. Say you forget or something and your ear is just good enough to where you can just kind of like, oh, I remember everything that I just played there.
Learn how to play classical guitar. I mean, I'm still learning, but
Me too. I know you guys are expecting me to hate on this, but there's not really much to hate, because I actually really like this. And it kind of just makes me appreciate why I love high-level guitar music. And I've actually gotten questions about this before, like, why did I study classical guitar? Because I've mentioned that I've also studied jazz. Like, I mainly studied it in high school, but then when I got to college, I studied classical. And really the answer is, like, I don't know. Like, I was just kind of drawn to it, and I had the access to it in school, so it was like, I might as well. And I knew always from a young age that I wanted to play super high level music on the guitar, be it any genre. Like, I was into metal and stuff before that. And from all of my studies of any genre, once you get far enough, it kind of all brings you to the same place after a while. And one of those places is just our standard tonal language, which is what we're hearing right now, the counterpoint and all that. And you hear the chord progressions and stuff. And you eventually break free from like the physical shackles of the limitations of the guitar. And you just get to a place where there's nothing really holding you back, and you can just kind of express yourself in this like language that we have. So that's what I'm seeing here. Like when I play classical music, like Bach, for example, and even like Rodrigo and stuff, if I can get that music to a place to where I'm no longer physically limited by like the complexity and stuff. I feel like the expression available to me is just so far beyond any other kind of music I could play. Once you reach a fluency on your instrument and you can play such complex things as if they're easy, the detail and expression and emotion you can reach is beyond anything you could ever do with anything else in your life. Like, this is like transcendent. And that's sort of the goal. And that's like, you know, I'm like the classical snob and all that. The real goal for all of us is to transcend. And to do that takes a lifetime of work, and there's always levels to it, and you'll know, like, when you first kind of start approaching it, and then you'll know when you're deep into it. And even as you're deep into it, there are always new levels to ascend to. So, you know, that's really what it's all about. All right, we can just end this video here. Just kidding. We'll keep watching. God, I'm gonna have to end it soon, though, because we're 6 minutes in and I've already been filming for 40 minutes. Yeah, there are some things you just can't communicate with open chords, and even with poetry. Like, you just can't do it. So that's just something to keep in mind. When we see people play like this, we're seeing a part of their soul that was maybe never even supposed to be seen. You know, it's almost unnatural, and that's why I call it like ascending. It's almost like you're leaving the natural order or something to like become something more. And by the way, he's playing very flashily right now, and that's not really even what I'm listening to. Like, he's taking this language of jazz that he plays, and it is very reminiscent of, like, what I would hear in a classical tune. Like, even just the harmony, like, where it's going to. So it's cool. This guy's got it. I think he's got it. He's onto something. And I guess maybe what I'm trying to get at, like, you can look at, like, we're hearing this and it does sound like the jazz manouche style, where it's like that shreddy kind of like arpeggiated stuff on, like, especially the timbre of a steel string. And I think it would be natural to say something like, oh, that's like gimmicky of the style. But I think when it comes to styles like this, there needs to be some kind of gimmick that's like the foundation, and it's about what's built on top of that that's important. And an example like that that's very familiar if you're a classical guitarist is like tremolo, for example. Like, what is more gimmicky than tremolo on a classical guitar? But when you have a tremolo piece like Alhambra or something like that, it's like, okay, it's not so much about the tremolo anymore. It's the actual composition that we appreciate. Like, nobody cares about the tremolo on its own, right? It almost kind of feels like that. It's like some kind of gimmicky style, but applied to something that, when that is stripped away, it is just very nice music, very like well-composed music that is sort of the goal of like classical jazz or anything. Like any high-level art form, the goal, like I said, leads to the same place. It's that well-composed and expressive music. And yeah, I think this sounds like that, so pretty cool. So I'm gonna skip around. I want to see if he'll play that classical for me. Dude, there it is. That's the nylon string. It's a 7-string too. Okay. Oh, he's playing with classical technique too. Look at that, man. Alright, dude, he has like the techniques too. I just saw some rest stroke in there. Yeah, look at that. Dude, what am I supposed to hate on this? I feel like he's hitting everything that I could ever love in a guitarist. He's doing it all. See, if you guys ever want like a role model, try to be more like Antoine Boyer. You can play your stupid jazz style. I don't care. Do whatever you want. But you know what you could do on the side as well? You can practice your freaking right hand technique in your classical playing, so you can play some real music every once in a while. Look at that, man. You can play your speed metal, whatever. Oh, and that's another example of like a gimmick. Like, sorry, I'm like going back to the gimmick thing. Like sweep picking is an electric guitar gimmick. But you can have a piece of music like some of the stuff that Jason Becker did where it transcends the gimmick, and it's like the gimmick is just a foundation for this, but the real composition shows. And whatever that place is that everyone seems to get to, like we saw it with Ravi too, with sitar. Like, of course, it's very different from like music that we're hearing now, like even more far removed from like jazz versus classical versus Indian classical, but it's still that high level place. And the instruments and the timbre and all that, that's stuff that when stripped away, you were still left with high level expressive music, and that's really what I care about. I can listen to anything like that. I don't care what instrument's being played on. Dude, for someone who plays with a pick like regularly and he's just like doing this, like yeah, his technique's great. He's able to perform like hard music. Dude, I hope he knows some classical tunes that he's gonna play. I don't want to hear a freaking arrangement of some jazz tune anymore. He's playing for a while. Dang, Rick's just letting him go. The only thing I could even say about his right hand, it is a little bouncy. It doesn't really seem to be affecting his accuracy or anything though, so it's like, I don't know, whatever. Like, he could probably refine his technique down further, but after a while, you kind of have to ask, does it need to be? Like, you know, it's fine. Yeah, because I wonder if he even cares about like getting a fast IM rest stroke or something. Especially when you play with a pick so fluently and you can just be so much faster with that. It's like, why even bother? When I want to play something slow and sweet, I'll do my classical technique, and when I'm playing my my shreddy jazz stuff, I'll use a pick. See, with me, I'm like trying to get my IM as fast as my pick playing, which is impossible. But it's because I'm not allowed to play with a pick ever, so I can't rely on that. I know I'm allowed to play with a pick, but I know it's possible to get a very fast IM, so I'm going to focus on that for a long time. Now play some Bach.
Moving lines and things like that, you gotta kind of be creative with the fingerings to...
Yeah, Rick, you gotta finger your music when you're playing classical stuff, for sure. Alright, where else are we gonna go with this?
Walgreens season.
Yeah, you guys asked, what do I think of his playing and do I think he's good? Yeah, he's very good. I got nothing to say. He's playing an electric now, let's see. Alright. Hey! Sounding like Joe Pass over here, alright. He is your new role model, so just try to be more like him. I'm gonna try to be more like him too, and that's a good way to live your life, I would say. Alright, Walgreens, I hope this one was good enough for you. It's gonna be all Antoine on the playlist. Sorry, but, you know, you get a lot of variety. You're gonna get shreddy jazz, you're gonna get some nice classical tunes, you're gonna get some, like, Joe Pass style stuff like this. Please hire me back. I am not doing well, especially after watching this. I actually just got out of a practice session because I like to start my mornings with that. I feel like I need to go back and practice now. I was gonna film again. This is kind of making me want to just feed all my videos to an AI and just post AI sore hands videos from now on so I can focus all my time on practicing. But, you know, that's the sacrifice I make for you. And Walgreens. Mostly Walgreens. Okay, I think we can wrap this up here. Hey, well, of course, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. Of course, head on down to your local Walgreens and mention Sore Hands, and you will get a coupon for Pokemon cards. Whoa, throwback. Hey, guitar lessons, I'm not offering them, but I think Anton mentioned that when he's teaching, he talks about some of the stuff. Maybe contact him. He seems like he knows what's up. So, like, I wonder what his prices are for a guitar lesson. Of course, Ruden's Delight, there's a sale right now. It's the Valentine's Day sale, so any girlfriends watching, be sure to buy your boyfriend a Sore Hand sweatshirt, and you'll get it for less money. Whoa! Alright, I'll see you in the next one.